Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Jason. Hope you're doing well. I got the new trusty microphone, testing it out, see how we're looking. I'll make some modifications if I need to, but I just wanted to see how we did today with the mic. I'll position it a little bit better. I'll have some better angles and stuff like that too, and I have a better backdrop coming as well. Baseball specific. It's gonna be really cool backdrop. So be on the lookout for that too. I'm just waiting for it to arrive. So. Today I want to talk about 5 Major League Baseball players who should be traded this offseason but probably won't. There's always those guys that we're like, I don't understand why is this guy not traded? What is he doing? What are they doing? Like, what the hell is going on? Right? So, and they just frustrate the heck out of us. And that's actually 6 players. And these are in my last video, I talked about the 7 most likely players to be traded this offseason. That's in the description down below, as well as a bunch of other recent videos that I put forth. So take a look at those. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And I also want to give a shout out before I go any further to NYY Recaps and New York Yankees Recaps for giving my channel a shout out on one of his most recent podcasts. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the love. I got the mic, so hopefully that addresses any echoing issues. And I'd love to join you for a discussion one of these days. I think it'd be awesome. So I really appreciate it. And and check him out. If you haven't seen him, take a look at his channel. He's really, really good baseball content. So take a look at him, everybody. NYY Recaps. Okay. And so I want to talk about 6 Major League Baseball players who should be traded this offseason, but probably won't. And we don't know why. So a couple of them were on my last list too, but it is what it is. And most likely, a couple of these, and you'll see like for the last couple of years, people are like, yeah, he's likely to be traded. That's why I have him on the likely list, but they're also on this list too. So number 1 is one of those guys, Josh Hader. It's been like 3 years, and people have been saying Hader's going to get traded, so on and so forth. He still has 3 years of control left. And I heard recently that the Yankees turned down a trade of Miguel Andujar for Josh Hader. I think that's when it was right after he had that really, really good year 2 years ago in 2018. And I'm surprised if they did, because they would have had 5 years of control of Hader, or it would also have been 5 or 6 years of control for Andujar as well. And but nowadays it's going to cost more than that to get him. There's so many different places where he's a fit. It could be in LA, it can be in Tampa Bay, it could be in the Yankees, it could be the Mets, it could be the St. Louis Cardinals. There's so many teams where he'd be a great fit, not only because he's lefty and dominant, because has 3 years of very affordable control. Plus, he can go 1 inning, he can go 3 innings. He gives you versatility, and again, he's a very dominant left-handed relief pitcher, and there aren't a ton of them in baseball. So, again, I have him in so many trades, and so many other people have him in mock trades, and he should go here, should go here, and it's just for some reason the Brewers aren't offloading him. Now, it might change now that Devin Williams has emerged as an elite reliever as well, so now they have a little bit of cushion to move him and again extract a pretty big package in return, because in my opinion I don't really see the Brewers contending over that 3-year period, at least at that level, at the level of the Dodgers and Padres. Maybe they're going to go for the playoffs, okay, but I think the package they would extract for a Josh Hader might address more holes than Hader would address himself. So again, I think he should be traded, but I don't think he will. And it's a shame. It's a shame. But we'll see what happens. Number 2 on the list is another guy that people have been talking about, Francisco Lindor. Again, he's a fit in a lot of teams. He's a top 5 player in baseball, in my opinion. And, he's an elite defender. He's a switch hitter, so he gives you balance on both sides for a lineup that's either heavy right or heavy left. Doesn't matter. He'll complement both. And he's a good contact hitter, consistent hitter. And it's for teams like the Yankees that are heavily dependent on the home run, unfortunately at the expense of a boatload of strikeouts, this guy makes a lot of sense, particularly if they're not bringing back DJ Lemahieu. So he makes a lot of sense on the Dodgers. He makes a lot of sense on the Mets. He makes sense on a boatload of teams. And there's been talk about him, being traded over the last couple of years. And now the Indians are in a crappy situation. I think they should have traded him last offseason, where they could have extracted a king's ransom for him. But now he's got 1 year left, and they're looking to cut payroll. So they're not going to get a huge package. They'll get a solid package, but again, he's got 1 year control left. So It's unfortunate. He should have been traded last offseason, where they could have gotten a lot. The signs are on the wall. At least the writing was on the wall, in my opinion. Once he started unloading Trevor Bauer and then Mike Clevenger, it's like it became obvious. Like, why are you holding on to your prize gem when you can move him and get a bunch of prospect capital and player capital in return? It doesn't make sense to me. So now they're going to wind up probably trading him this offseason or at the deadline at the very least, and they'll get, instead of just letting him go as a free agent next season and getting a second-round draft pick or whatever they get, or a 2 and a 3, unload him this offseason and get more than that for him. But again, it's not going to be a Nolan Arenado type package or a Mike Clevenger type package or But there are teams that will line up for him. But for some reason, I don't think they're going to move him, and I think it's a huge mistake for the Indians. But we'll see. I hope that they do. Number 3, this guy. I mean, in my opinion, I've had him in a couple of trade proposals over the last year or so. Whit Merrifield from the Kansas City Royals. To me, he's just kind of rotting away over there in Kansas City in his prime years. Now, Dayton Moore has said that they're making some investments to spend, which they did. They brought in Carlos Santana and a couple of Michael Taylor, and they brought in a couple other guys. So they're looking to make a legitimate effort to be competitive, but I don't know. They're in the Central. I mean, they got the Indians ahead of them. You got the White Sox and the Twins. Like, how in the world are they going to compete in that division? So, in my opinion, he's a guy, and he played second base, but now he can play outfield. He might be good for a team that needs some positional versatility, and a guy that's just a consistent player who can go out and put them, have good at bats, good contact, good infield. He's just a good overall player on the field and at the plate. And for a team like Texas, who's looking to contend again, I mean, that's an option, and I think Texas should make a couple of moves to be competitive, particularly in this new stadium where they're going to want to fill once fans are able to start coming to games again. I think he's a great fit for them. I thought he was a great fit for the Yankees a couple years ago, but I don't think he's a fit now, unfortunately. But he's still a top 5, top 6 second baseman or slash. He's not a top 5, top 6 outfielder, but he's still a very good player, and he's serviceable to a lot of teams. So. But again, for some reason, I don't see Kansas City moving him. I know he's kind of like the face of the franchise now, just like Lindor is, and some of these other guys. And I see the reluctance to move him because of the fans and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you have a team to run. You have a franchise to run, and is keeping him going to make you better than maybe offloading him for a couple guys who can probably help in multiple positions? Again, he's not going to get a Lindor-type package, but he'll still get a decent return, and he's on a very affordable contract, which holds a lot of value these days in baseball, particularly right now with teams that have been crushed by what happened last year and with the uncertainty of what's going to happen next year. So, in 2021, whether it's going to be a 160-game season, 120-game season, and I've got my views on that. I might do a video on that too. But again, for some reason, I think he should be traded, but he probably won't. Number 4 is Miguel Andujar from the Yankees, and now he doesn't really have a position anymore. He's shown again he's healthy and can hit. He's been hitting in the Dominican League in this winter, and again, I think he should be part of a package, probably to get a Lindor, because he still has 3 or 4 years of team control and at an affordable rate. He's learning outfield, so he can play infield and outfield, so he does hold a little bit more value. But again, for a team like Cleveland, who's looking to lower cost and get some prospect capital, he's a good piece of a package for a Francisco Lindor. Maybe him and another player. They're not going to get like 4 or 5 guys for Lindor. That's just not going to happen anymore, at least in my opinion. But this is for some reason, and this frustrates me about the Yankees. And I understand he has to establish health and consistency again. I get that, but for some reason, I see him staying with the Yankees for 2021, and I think he should be given an opportunity elsewhere. And again, there's a lot of teams, again, Texas, Cleveland. There could be other teams as well. You send them out to Colorado or something like that, as part of some kind of trade. Send them out there for John Gray, or whatever. There's a lot of options for him, and again, he's on a very affordable rookie contract for 3 more years, so he's not going to cost $20 million a year. And again, he's a prime candidate, and I don't think they're going to do it. Number 5 is Kyle Hendricks from the Cubs. And he's now that Darvish is out, They're kind of embarking on a little bit more of an aggressive salary dump, and in an effort to cut payroll. And I know they say they want to stay competitive, but if you get rid of Contreras and Bryant, I don't know how competitive you're going to be in the Central. So depends on what they get back for them. But again, Bryant only has 1 year left, so he's not going to extract the King's ransom. Contreras, I think, has 2, so he'll get a little bit of a better package. But they're obviously, their goal is to cut payroll, and I don't know. Hendricks is probably the prime trade piece there. He can get. He's the one. I think he's got 3 years left at about kind of a Blake Snellish contract, 3 years and $40 million or so, which is a very affordable contract. And he can slide. He can either be a number 1 on quite a few teams or slide in to be a number 2 on a lot of teams, and that holds a ton of value. If you have a number 2 or it's number 1A, number 1B on an affordable contract, he is gold. He can extract a King's ransom for the Cubs. So that's just my opinion, but for some reason I think they're going to keep him now that they've moved Darvish, and try to remain competitive, but we'll see. And last but not least, to me, is another Yankee, Aroldis Chapman, their closer. As dominant as he's been, he's also been equally as frustrating. He's given up home runs at the worst possible times in the postseason. But if you look at his overall body of work since he's been here for 3 or 4 years, he has about a 2.8 ERA, which is kind of Josh Hader-like dominance. He's just had quite a few blips in the postseason. Now, he, to me, is a fit on a couple teams. Minnesota needs a closer, okay? And they have the capital to give up for him. And again, their payroll's low, relatively low, and they need somebody like that who can come in and solidify that bullpen. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, Kenley Jansen is on a huge, steep decline, and they need somebody like him to come in and solidify the back end of that rotation. Maybe him and bringing in somebody like Liam Hendricks or whatever. So I think he's a clear fit for at least 2 of those teams, but for some reason I see the Yankees holding on to him too. But this is an opportunity for the Yankees to clear more payroll, is $18 million a year. Even if they ate $2 million a year of it for the next 2 years or whatever it is, or $3 million of it, I would eat 6 to save 30. So, and again, he would extract a nice return because he's still dominant. So, but for some reason I don't see them doing it either, which is frustrating. But but if he stays, he stays. He's great. Other than the quite a few blips, the bad time pitches that he's given up, it is what it is. So, but those are my 6 players that I think should be traded that will not be traded, and that I don't think will be traded. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. My next video, I'm going to play the Yankees GM. I'm going to play Brian Cashman and tell you exactly what I would do this offseason right now with everything that's going on. Okay? And you let me know what you think there too. With that, look out for each other, be safe, and again, welcome to the channel. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button if you like good content. Thank you for my regulars, you're the best, and I look forward to a good year with all of you in 2021. All the best for good health, and I'll talk to you next time.